primary voters in both parties tend to be very engaged voters. If they voted in primaries in the past, they're going to vote in the primary again.
I see. You really think that?
Yes.
Is the 25, it's a 9-point lead, I guess it is. Is that insurmountable for Verge Bernero?
Oh, no, not at all. Again, I'm careful here to say I'm neutral in this race. But no, that's not insurmountable, particularly given the 40% undecided. And I would expect that for both those candidates, Michael Patrick, and this is true on the Republican side as well, that even people who say they are for a particular candidate at this point, not everybody's locked in. So people may still move between candidates in the next 2 weeks.
Verge Bernero is quoted as saying he wouldn't mind an endorsement from Governor Granholm. He wouldn't mind an endorsement from Barack Obama. That those endorsements, by some accounts, could be more damning than helpful, couldn't they?
Well, in a Democratic primary, both those figures are very, very popular with Democratic voters. So that's something that could be helpful. Whether that'll happen, I doubt, particularly regarding President. The President has not gotten involved in our primary, and I don't expect he will.
And the governor has already said she's not going to back a candidate. She's decided, she told me last week, who she's voting for, but she won't say which candidate. Are you saying that Governor Granholm is still popular in the Democratic Party?
Oh, yes. Yes, very, very much so.
Why?
Why? Because we think she's done a good job under very difficult circumstances. I mean, who could have foreseen, the terrible economic recession that we've been in, worse since the Depression, the bankruptcies of Chrysler and General Motors? She was dealt a very, very bad hand by national policies, by events beyond her control. And I think she's done a good job given those circumstances and given the obstructionism that we've seen out of Mike Bishop and the Senate Republicans.
Time magazine had an interesting story. Mark Halperin again says that under pressure, Democrats are cracking. I don't know if you saw this article or not. He says that the Democrats are starting to panic at both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue. The realization that Nancy Pelosi's hold on the speakership is in true jeopardy. Losing control of the Senate's not out of the question. And now the guy they thought was their best friend, the president, is polling very badly. They say that, let's start with that. Is there panic in Washington?
Well, I don't know about Washington. I don't think so. It's certainly not panic here. I mean, we know how to do this. You take this a step at a time, particularly in terms of the tactics when it comes to winning elections. You raise money, you communicate with voters, you get the voters out. We know how to do that. And that's what I continue to urge people to do, focus on those kinds of things. I think there's some great things we can bring back to the voters of this country. The health care reform is a very good step. It'll take several years to implement. I think today, I hope we're going to see an extension of the unemployment benefits. The Wall Street reform that passed last week to really rein in the abuses on Wall Street. I think we've got a good record to take back to the American people this fall, and that's what we've got to go out there and do, and contrast it to where we were when we started. We were losing 750,000 jobs a month when Barack Obama became president as a result of the policies of George Bush. We've turned that around. Now, are we where we need to be? No. But we're starting to pick up jobs and gain jobs. We're turning the corner, improving things. Do we want to go back to the policies of George Bush and the disaster that was? So that'll be the choice for the voters this fall. Continue to go forward and make progress, and it's not easy, it's not fast, or slide back and give the keys to the car, as the president would say, back to the people who drove us into the ditch.
Are Democrats disappointed in President Obama?
Oh, no, not at all. Again, he had a very ambitious agenda, but if you look back at the things he promised to do, he has kept his promises. He didn't mislead anybody. So, look, we got to fix Wall Street. He's done that. We've got to tackle this terrible problem with the economy, with the stimulus. We've got to fix health care. He's had a remarkable year and a half in terms of achievements.
Why is his approval rating so low then?
Because when you make decisions, those kind of things happen. That's not going to be popular with everybody. People also need to remember he was not elected, with 65% of the vote. And so there are a lot of folks who continue to be opposed to his policies and to continue to obstruct and refuse to work with him. And that's a lot of what's going on. So, again, you take hits, but he has done what he decided and what he said he would do when he was elected president. And for that, I think people will appreciate.
Do you think that overall, and we only have 30 seconds left, it's cyclical? 8 years Bill Clinton, 8 years George W. Barack Obama. 12 years Governor Engler, 8 years Governor Granholm.
There is some of that, but again, you look at the 2000 election, which frankly was stolen from Al Gore, so that, there's something to the cyclical, but again, elections are about candidates and choices for voters.
Your choice is coming 2 weeks from today. Democratic Party Chair Mark Brewer, thanks for being with us here.